Klockworks or Freedom Shields? Which one should you get? Which one did I get? That's what we're going to talk about today on this ride. So when I was looking at different Indian Chieftains, I really liked the taller windshield of the Indian Roadmaster rather than the stock windshield, which only came up about 4 inches on the Indian Chieftain. Now when I was looking at windshields, the main thing I noticed was there was the biggest name in aftermarket windshield, which was Klockworks. They have the most aggressive swoop, so you can get the lowest windshield with the highest air getting pushed up. Now that's great, I think, if you're on Harley Davidson that has a fixed windshield, non-adjustable, so you could get it below your eye line and have the air going up over you and your passenger. I think if I had a Harley and I couldn't move the windshield up and down like I can on the Indian, I may have gone with the Klockworks windshield. However, I ended up going with the Freedom Shields. Now when I was doing my research online, one thing I liked about the Freedom Shields, you leave the protective film on that it gives you and you can return it. As long as that windshield is still in new condition with the film on it, even if it's a year and a half later, you never got the time to put it on and test it out, you could return or exchange it for a different size windshield, a different type, and they have all different shapes and sizes for you. So when I was buying this windshield, what I did was I took a tape measure and I had the stock windshield came up to about here, 4 inches off the fairing, and I stuck my tape measure down there on the lip of the windshield. Now the stock windshield on an Indian Chieftain, I think they call it a 10-inch. I want to say it was closer to like 9.5, 9.25, something like that, but they call it a 10-inch. So I took my tape measure, I went up, and then I saw, if I'm sitting upright, where my eye line would be. Now this windshield, the 14-inch Freedom Shields, is just below my eye line. So if I'm sitting up normal, I can see right over the windshield in the down position. So that way, if I wanted a tinted windshield, I could have done that. But in the summertime, you get a little more wind. You can see over the windshield just fine, so you're not feeling closed in or anything. But then, the Indians have about a 4-inch travel up and down. So if I'm up on the highway, or if there's a lot of bugs, or whatever, and you want to be behind that windshield, well now I can move it up, and I have an 18-inch windshield now. So now I'm looking through it. I'm looking through the windshield at the road above. You don't have to duck behind it for the rain. You can still sit comfortably on a long trip, and you're looking through the windshield. You're getting more wind protection for you and your passenger if you're riding 2 up. And one thing you could also notice about this windshield, the stock ones are only this wide. They end right here. So with Freedom Shields, and I believe Klockworks as well, they're the same way, you can get, for Freedom Shields they call it the touring size, which comes out, which I like, because when I'm riding with it down most of the time around town, not on the highways, I feel like it fits the fairing better when it's a little wider like that. I just like the appearance of it. I don't know if it adds too much more wind protection on the sides, but the wind doesn't hit my shoulders. It's going out around me, so it is nice. The main reason that I went with the Freedom Shields windshield over the Klockworks windshield is because I do highway riding, because I ride in the rain sometimes. I wanted to be sure that I wasn't going to get distortion. If I'm on a long trip, I'm riding at night, and I got distortion in that top of the windshield, and now I'm trying to duck behind it in a rainstorm, you got the lights from the oncoming cars or the taillights in front of you. Well, now it's all getting distorted. I don't think that's safe. So I wanted a taller windshield, no distortion, with a lot of wind protection for the interstate. So the Freedom Shields, as you can tell in this clip, the Freedom Shields has a slight swoop to it to get that air up over you more, just like the Klockworks. Not as aggressive, but what you can tell is there's no distortion. With it in the up position, it doesn't matter where I put my head, the windshield is nice and clear. There's no waves, there's no distortion. It's very smooth. all the way to the top of the windshield because it's such a gradual swoop. And that was the winning factor for me, besides their exchange policy, because, you know, let's say I got the 14-inch and the top of the windshield was like right where I was trying to look through, and I wanted it 1 inch, 2 inches lower, then I could have just mailed it back, got the correct size, and we're good to go. They could resell it to somebody else because it's still in its original packaging. You could even put the Freedom Shields on your bike, take it for a ride for a week or so, you know, especially if you're getting a lower one, and you can look over it because the protective film on it is kind of opaque looking through it. So, I mean, you're not going to be clearly looking through it with the film on it. But if you wanted to take it for a ride, see how the wind protection is, you know, especially if you're on a road glide, street glide, lowrider ST, something like that, and you want a lower windshield, that because you're not adjustable, you want that lower windshield with the max wind protection, then you could just exchange it out. You know, a lot of guys will buy them, they want like an 8-inch and it's down here, but then you go for a ride and the bugs are hitting you right in the windshield or on your helmet. So that's why I went with the Freedom Shields. This is the 14-inch. I'll stop and I'll walk around the bike quick so you guys can see it in the down position and the up position. I could have went for a 16-inch, but this edge would have been right where I'm looking because I look about 2 inches above the windshield. The camera's mounted on the chin mount, so you guys are a little lower than what I'm actually seeing. If I go like this, that's probably the camera's eye view of what I'm seeing. That way you guys could see how the windshield's lower than eye level. I'm about 5'7", so I'm not that tall, so that gives you a gauge. If you're 6 foot or taller, you might want the 16-inch or something bigger like that. So there's a couple future videos that I'll just give you a heads up that I'm going to be making. The first one is probably going to be how to switch out your windshield. You get a new windshield on an Indian, and it's honestly, it's very simple. There's also a gear drive for the windshield that you can swap out while you're in the process. I did the gear drive swap to the aluminum one over the plastic. That way, if I'm on a big trip, I don't have to worry about it ever stripping out. And I changed out my windshield all, I don't know, probably within an hour. And then I'm also going to be doing a quick video on adjusting your clutch on the Indian, because mine's engaging kind of farther out, so it needs a little adjustment to bring it in. More so for personal preference over anything else. So on this ride, I'm going to take you up. There's the Starukka Viaduct. I'll drive up to that so you guys can check it out. We're just entering the town of Susquehanna.
Wishing for
So that was the Starukka Viaduct. This here in front of us is a railroad bridge. We're in the town of Lanesboro right now. They just redid this bridge last year and it actually came out pretty nice. Normally they just slap a patch on these bridges and call it good, but they repainted this one and it looks awesome. So if you guys haven't checked out my other videos yet, I got one where I was riding through the Hawk's Nest, and I have another one where I compared the Indian Chieftain to the Harley Street Glide and why I chose the Indian Chieftain. Just a few topics I touched on the Indian was comfort, the adjustable windshield, the display. Your leg position on the Indian is a little more relaxed. On the Harley, it's a little farther back and higher up. Some of the things that I touched on in the other video, if you guys want to check those out. Like and subscribe as always, it helps out the channel, so maybe I can make some better videos as I get through this journey of recording, editing, learning to talk to myself in a helmet. And I'm going to be going on some nice trips. Look at that gorgeous view. You got Elk Mountain in the back there. Elk Mountain Ski Resort, still have some snow up on the mountain. Beautiful mountains. Look at that beautiful farm. Alright guys, so this is so you can check out the Freedom Shield on the bike. Slight swoop to it. This is in the down position. Got some bugs on it now after this ride, but looks good in the down position. Double tap, goes all the way up for you. This is the up position. It's got the air vents in, so the air can come through, go through the vents. It's got the wider touring width on it. You could get the standard width if you'd like. I just think the wider looks better with the size of the front fairing. And that's the full profile.